Well, I'm Dane, and this is Dane Explains. Many of us learned in school that the Ice Age ended around 15,000 years ago. Something many people may have noticed as they grow older is that some of the things they were taught in school were oversimplified, aka wrong, so that they didn't have to go into the more complicated details kids wouldn't understand anyway. Well, the Ice Age was one of those oversimplifications. And guess what? We're still in an ice age. What causes an ice age, and why are we still in one? Let me explain why. Recently, I've been going over some of the topics I've already covered early in my channel, because the form of my channel has changed a bit, and I didn't want to subject any of you watching content that's harder to get through than the Florida Everglades in your underwear. Ice ages aren't that uncommon in Earth's history. The latest one is at least the sixth one. What causes them is different for each one. The third ice age, known as the Cryogenian, nearly ended life before it could really take off, by freezing the entire planet all the way to the equator. Most of the early ice ages seem to be caused by life expanding, emitting large amounts of waste oxygen before there were organisms that evolved to absorb it. The second ice age, known as the Huronian, may have been caused by the Earth finally running out of sufficient oxygen sinks, like metallic iron on Earth's surface. So the oxygen started to build up. Basically, there weren't any more things left that could be rusted or corroded. The latest ice age is a bit more complicated. Looking at this graph, you can see the temperature started to decline 15 to 35 million years ago, with temperature swings lasting around 40,000 years, getting more extreme in the last 3 million years. During the most recent ice age, the cool periods are known as glacial periods, and the warm periods are known as interglacials. It's theorized that this cycle is caused by another cycle called Milankovitch cycles. However, something I pointed out in a previous video is that these cycles could just be regulating the cadence of the glacial periods rather than causing them. In that video, I also pointed out in greater detail than I will here that the progressive increase in the efficiency of photosynthesis in plants over the last 40 million years or so may have been the real cause, since the Earth has been more dominated by the more efficient broadleaf angiosperm plants since the end of the Cretaceous, which was more or less dominated by the less efficient gymnosperms, like pine trees. Link to that video in the description if you're interested after this one. Notice how flat the temperature line has been for the last 10,000 years? Keeping in mind that each subsequent section has bigger timescales by 1 to 3 orders of magnitude, but still, it's remarkably stable. It's theorized by some scientists that it was caused by man, specifically the mass deforestation in the northern hemisphere for agricultural uses. Now you may notice something odd about this graph that I've showed several times. What's that? The gray line shows the current average temperature. You can see that that's a good 5 to 6 degrees Celsius below the average temperature of Earth before the Ice Age began. That's about a 10 degrees Fahrenheit difference for us who use freedom units. That means these graphs are indicating we're still in an ice age. We're just in an interglacial period during the Ice Age. We have a long way to go, 10 degrees Fahrenheit, before we would get out of the current ice age. But if you look at the line showing the projected temperature increase by the end of this century, we'll nearly be there. That's about the same temperature where Antarctica froze over around 30 to 40 million years ago. So unless something unpredictable happens before the end of the century, that's when I expect the current ice age to come to a close and the really major sea level rise to begin. Most people think this is a bad thing, and it is to those who live in low-lying areas. But flooding of low-lying areas happened at the end of the last glacial period as well, and we survived. But I would say overall, it would be a good thing for life on Earth and humans. Since looking at the temperature trend over the last few million years, you can see it wasn't going anywhere nice unless you think Antarctica is nice. We theoretically would already be in the midst of the next glacial period if humans hadn't come along and put it off. If the cooling trend continued, it's hard to predict what would eventually happen. But one of the glacial maximums could get severe enough that the ice cover passes a tipping point, causing the whole ecosystem to collapse and a full snowball Earth period to ensue, since ice reflects sunlight, making the Earth cooler, causing more ice cover, etc. So, thank God for global warming, and thank you for watching. If you like this video and other topics ranging from theology to science, please press the like button, subscribe to my channel, and ding the bell to get notified when I post new videos. Also, please support me on Patreon to get extra content and special perks. Link in the description. The more people support me, the more time I can dedicate to making videos like this one. So, until next time, have a great week.